Please, allow me to show you something.
Black, run that shit back, man.
Nothing is my to stay humble when they put you at the front of it all. Gotta learn to hold your tongue, that's why I always mumble when I talk. It's not my fault, I look good when I do what I do.
What's going on? Welcome back to another Media Man Live. I'm glad you guys are able to join me on this special edition during my lunch break, mind you. So because of y'all, I'm going to miss my gym hour and I'm going to miss my lunch hour, but it's all good. At the gym during the midday rush, or well, the after work rush. So I'm going to blame that on y'all. If I ain't able to get to the machines that I need to get to in the gym, me and y'all got a problem. You know what I'm saying? I need to get mine. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, it's all good. We're going to talk about how to read statistics, especially in the conversations around the Black community relationship discussions. And I have a perfect example that was sent to me yesterday, and I actually responded to it on Instagram. If you guys seen it, go ahead and chime in under the comments. Let me know what you think. And it's going to highlight, another example of how us as Black men, we contribute to these false narratives that are being painted against Black men, and we're definitely going to do some PowerPoint. I have a PowerPoint put together. You guys know my background is teaching and instructing, so I'm definitely going to make sure we get our death by PowerPoint. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna make it I made it as palatable and easy as possible for you guys to understand. We're also going to go over population sampling sizes, so you guys will understand what the threshold is for different talking points that we have in these discussions, what is required for sampling thresholds in regards to a population, and how we extrapolate that out to the entire population, so you know if a statistical reference is accurate or not. This is going to be very important because I know a lot of people will say, well, they only studied 500 people. They only studied this amount of people, but we're going to go over why this matters, what's the threshold for this particular study, and then we'll go on from there. If you guys have any questions, please let me know while we're doing this. I'm already sweating because it's been rough, but I'm here, so we're gonna get this going, man. I'm glad to see everybody here. We got some of the day ones in the building. Poolman already put the links in the description. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys at work, but you will definitely learn something this live stream real quick, okay? Thank you, Poolman, for putting everything in the description. We got The Truth Unfolded. I like that name. Tuesday morning, man, live stream saying ain't so. Oh, yeah, man, we in there. Thank you. And we got Erroneous E. What up, though? Said, at it bright and early. Salute all. Thank you, brother. Good to see you here. Who's up? The video's fuzzy. Oh, no. Fuzzy and choppy. Thank you, Pooh Man. Thank you, Erroneous E. Let me fix that. Hold on. Let me see. Give me a second. All right. Hold on. Let me see. Let me check it. Give me a second. Yes. Oh, I bet. Hold on. Let's see if it focuses. Hold on. Yes, it's gonna be tough because I have my work computer going. What? Hey, can you? Yeah, hold on. We're gonna try and give us a second. Let me see here. Let me see if this works. Yes, it's still choppy. Give me a second. It's trying to fix. Give me. Hold on. Let's see if that works. 1 second. I got to do this in real time. Come on. Yeah, it's trying, but it's still. It's a lot better. Yeah, it's a lot better, but it's still got to. It's got to get better. Hold on. Waiting for it. Yeah, I see it. Okay, it's we moving. We got to get to it. It's going. Yeah, we did it. Yeah, because I have two Wi-Fi settings, one for work and then for my house. And yeah, that's why it messes up. Hold on, let me see something. Okay. Usually my work computer is turned off when I go live. Yep, that did it. Thank you. Come here. Okay. All right. We good, Pooh man? We good? Okay. We should be good, I think. It may pause for a little bit, but is that okay? Yeah. This is crazy how technology work, man. I need my IT people to hook your boy up. Let's see here. Okay. We good. We in there. All right. Let's just keep me updated if everything goes. Yeah. Now you work. Okay. Work. All right. So we should be good to go. Thank you, Pooh man. I appreciate it. So yeah, so we got to have some it's got to be clear so we can get to this live stream. But before everything goes bad again, let's get to the super chats first because I see we got seen a couple things. Brendan, what up though with the $10 bomb? You said, "What's up, Media Man? Missed your live stream the other day. Caught it on the replay. It was fire. That would have been in my wheelhouse. I've been in that game for over 30 years. Glad to catch this one. Thank you, man. Yeah, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother." Hold on. Brendan also says with $5 said Media Man dropping lunchtime knowledge. Thank you. We need it. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. I'm already in work mode, so it's pretty cool that the stuff that you actually study and you actually work in, you get to teach it to other people, which is something that I do all across the region. And majority of the time when we have the funding, I go overseas and I do this to represent the U.S. and these various countries in regards to health and many other things. So next year, I told myself that I'm gonna try and open up more of my work and what I actually do on a day-to-day basis, especially when I'm traveling. So be on the lookout for more content from that. So let me give you a drop.
I'ma just see these and bump into them, put gun to them, run through them, make them do gas station sushi. Yeah.
Thank you, good brother. Appreciate it. Okay. Hold on. I got wonder why Dante Bryant, your super chat is not showing up in the super chat side. I don't know why. It said, "Brother WM, caught you on my lunch break. Now I can listen while working." Cool. Thank you. That's the purpose of this live stream. Since we all in the work mode, hopefully this will be enjoyable. But before we get to that, let me show you guys our progress. Hold on, let me get this set in regards to Bam. All right. So if you guys don't know, we still got the savings challenge going on. We got one more month. One more month. So this is my high yield savings account. As you guys can see, I've only earned $770, but that wasn't the purpose of it. It was the purpose to understand how high yield savings accounts work in regards to the interest and the different rates. So you see mine is 3.40%. So and that changes throughout the month, throughout the year. You'll get a update saying that your APY changed or whatever. But once we finish this last month, remember, you guys, we started in July, so you were supposed to invest every month leading up to the first, or I think the 3rd of January. So we have one more month to invest in, to put our savings in, and after that month, it should be, if you put in the higher amount, then you should have about, I think it's $2,100 and $22,108. But then with your interest, then that will bump it up a little bit. But after we have put all our money into our savings account, we have some options that we're going to do. I'm currently working on how I want to translate this into either investing, more savings to keep it going throughout the next year for the full year. Or we can probably invest in some things that you typically enjoy. So we'll figure it out, figure what's the best way to help grow this money that we have saved as a team over the last 6 months. So IQS, I did get your I think you sent it an email. I got Tyrone's email and I got Ron's email as well. So you guys have been steady, steadfast in this savings process, sending me all the emails. I greatly appreciate it. You guys kept up with it. So at that end, we should have that money saved. And it was a kind of a teachable moment in regards to our investing and savings live stream that we did. So now that we have this money, we get to figure out what we want to do with it. Okay. And this is aside from our own savings accounts and whatever we already had going on. We did this. We all opened these accounts because of that live stream. And it was to teach people how to save. Okay. And I think it worked out. We got some examples. You guys have done an amazing job. Like I said, I always going to keep my end of the bargain. That money is going in there automatically. So it's going to be a good thing at the end of December. Once we get all the money in, we get to show how it turns out. And then we can figure out what we're going to do with these ducats that we saved and we didn't spend on DoorDash and McDonald's. But yeah, it's going to be good. It's definitely going to be a good time. So thank you guys for participating. I appreciate it. Let me get that off there real quick. Did I miss anything? Let's see here. All right, cool. I'm trying to go back over the truth unfolded. Are you going to run it back in the beginning of the year? I'm not sure if we're going to do it the same way, like keep saving. We may actually, my first instinct is, since we have this, significant amount of money, because there's going to be some folks that have $2,000, some folks have about $1,000 that they saved. If you have never invested before, we may be able to roll that over into our own investment accounts or our new investment accounts to see how they grow, as opposed to how the high yield savings grows. But the truth unfolded. The last time we did this, we need reputable people to give your, I guess, your opinions on what stocks that we need to purchase. I have my own portfolios. My wife has her portfolios, but I want to hear from you guys. If we're going to invest this savings money, literally take all of the money in our high yield savings, put it into an investment account, then we're going to have to buy stocks. Fair? So my thought was that I was going to do another lunchtime live stream to where I've already transferred all my high yield savings money into an investment account. And then I was going to turn it over to you guys. And you guys tell me what to invest in. How about that? With my own money. How about that? Can y'all advise me, even though I live with the financial advisor? I want to see what y'all think. And I'm going to have my wife take a look at it and see, based off of what you guys have recommended, I'm going to get her expert opinion on it and see if everything works out. How about that? Can y'all outbid my wife, who has taught me how to grow money? I'm a saver. You know what I'm saying? I know how to save. I told you guys this. But my wife understands how to grow money. And I want to see if you guys can do that as well. Yeah, okay, Pooh Man. Okay. Yeah, the challenge. Yeah. Okay, what Pooh Man said? Medium Man, the truth unfolded is lucid. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. You changed your name. All right, cool. Lucid experience. I don't know which one you want me to call you, brother. Yeah. So what y'all think? Because like I said, man, takes a lot of trust in the person that you live with to be like, hey, when we first decided to, get married, I had to ask her. I was like, hey, man, I'm gonna put that degree to work. You let me know. And she was more than happy to do it, so hey, I got a good one over here. So yeah, you guys let me know, if that's something that you want to do. I would definitely take that money and I'll hand it over to you guys and I'll invest it and see how we can turn out over the year. And then I'll actually be dedicated to I would have to split up my own investment accounts. But in order to make this thing work for the whole year of 2026, I will commit to putting $500 in every month of my own money into the investment account that we created for this challenge. Okay. So every month we're going to do a live stream like I did the first time. I did this before, and that account is doing very well, but you guys didn't have that much input. So I had to go off the expert over here, and we were able to do very well, to the point that I was able to put a huge dent in the car that I bought. That was the main reason why I bought my new car. So yeah, so if if you guys are willing to do that and you are able to steer me in the correct way, I will definitely put in $500 each month, and I will hand it over to you guys, and we will teach how to invest and what stocks that we need to invest in with that $500 each month. How about that? Okay. Okay, let's get to it, man. See, if you hear, we got 27 folks in here. I want to see y'all. We got to see Pooh Man. I see Lucid. Who else in here? We got a bunch of folks. We got Brendan in here. So remember this. I'm going to clip it up, and I'm going to be looking forward to every month we invest in that 500, and we go see how our investments are doing. So it's right now you keep seeing me wiping. It hasn't in Texas. It's cold, but our house keeps heat very well. So I don't have the air on. I can't put the air on. So if I start to sweat a little bit, it's not because I'm preaching or nothing. It's just because of the fact that it's cold out here in Texas, in Houston. So all right, so that seems like a deal. I'm gonna put all the parameters into place, Pooh Man. And for the investment challenge, it's going to start after in January. Okay, so yeah, so let's do that. And like I said, $500 each month. That'd be fun, and we could teach as well. We taught investing in different terms, and what stocks and bonds to look out for. We did that before, but we haven't done one recently in the last year. So I think it's about that time. Okay, so before we get to the PowerPoint presentation, I want to show you guys something. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about in regards to reading statistics, understanding, and learning. Yesterday, I was tagged in a video on Instagram. I was tagged by, let's see here, this young lady right here. She was responding to Joel James' comedy, said, here's another source. The page is Media Man Live. Type it in. So essentially, she was trying to tell this black man, this comedian, that, hey, man, what you're saying is not true. So she tagged me in the video, which is typically what happens. If you guys don't know, on Instagram, people will tag me in certain things. And if it's so egregious, I'm like, man, I got to chime in on this. So I'll say, don't worry, black men, I got it. Because, of course, the discourse is centered around shaming or, I guess, down talking black men. And like I said, this is from a black man doing this. And of course, in his comment section, it was some of your favorites. Claudia Jordan was under there. She was happy that this black man was quote unquote speaking up for black women at the demise of black men. But if you decide as a black man to speak up for black women, you got to make sure that what you're saying is true and accurate. If it's not, that's when I get involved. Okay. So now I'm going to show you guys here in a second. Let's see here. And I had just put out this, and it just coincides perfectly with me just discussing this. So you see here, I had just put this up here, and I wrote about this on my platforms. You're attacking us. Why are you saying that? You're on our side. Finally, someone agrees. It depends. And you see they got a muscular dude in there, so that's supposed to be me. So, so translation, correcting misinformation equals misogyny. Data is treated as an attack when feelings rule the conversation. Number 3, when black men or black women lie on black men, plus you blame black men instead, even when it's not accurate. Interpretation, you love black women. Translation, taking unjust responsibility equals validation. A lot of people want protection without accountability. This is a perfect example of that. Let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me get this off here. Listen to this.
Me off with this single mom BS.
The worst environment is for a kid to be raised in a single mother household.
Single mothers are literally the worst parents on the entire planet.
Women got to hold themselves accountable.
Let's go back.
Single mothers are.
Look at the bottom there. Y'all recognize this guy? You see this white guy right here? Y'all recognize him from some of my videos, from my most recent videos? White man from town, y'all remember that? So this comedian, Joel James, he took the same exact video of this white man that has been circulating in black female spaces for a while. He caught on to it and was like, oh, this is the perfect time for me to pander to black women, because this white man, white ice is colder, is saying that this is not true. And I want you guys to hear something very closely. Listen very closely when the comedian starts to speak. Watch this.
Are literally the worst parents on the entire planet.
Women got to hold themselves accountable because 70% of boys in jail are raised by single mothers.
Single sisters are to blame for the high population of men in jail.
70% of youth in juvenile delinquent facilities come from single mother homes.
Compare a single mother is 80% chance of going to jail.
80% of black males who are in jail come from single mother homes.
70%.
Okay, so let's stop right there. For all the black men that were in the first videos, they're more right than they are wrong. But they are wrong about the different percentages that they quoted on every video. So I'll say that much. Hopefully that makes sense. What they're saying is, let's just take it from here. Is it more likely for a prisoner to be from a single mother household or a single father household? The answer is it is more prevalent for a prisoner to be from a single mother household based off of the snapshot or the statistical reference that they're using. Okay, so in that right, they are correct. However, they are wrong in that, they had different percentages in there. Does that make sense, guys? So you can be somewhat right, but you may be off on certain things if you didn't actually read the study. But we're going to go over it in a second. But this is the comedian explaining his thought process on it. Let's go back a little bit. Here we go.
From single mother homes.
70%, 80%. That statistic is 30 years old.
You hear that? So he said the statistic is 30 years old.
So it's also single fathers, kids who live with their grandparents, kids who live with their aunties, uncles. That's where that comes from. When you look at the real statistics, it's actually almost neck and neck, single parent households versus double parent households.
Now, did you hear that? Does it sound like he read the study? No. You know what he did do? He listened to that white man. The same thing that every black woman has done with that video. He did not do the research for himself. If he did, he would not have said it was like neck and neck. It's not neck and neck. You should not have listened to that white man. You should have listened to your instinct, did the research, read it first, and then base your opinions off of that. But you trusted that white man. And that's the same way that they get us every time in the black community. And this coming from a black man is absolutely embarrassing. Y'all talking about the white man holding us down. He ain't got to hold us down. We doing it for ourselves. Yeah, listen to what he said. And I want y'all to listen very closely because I'm going to play what the white guy said. And it's going to sound familiar.
Real statistics is actually almost neck and neck single parent households versus double parent households as far as men in prison.
Watch this. Deceptive example involves the white men who twisted the Department of Justice incarceration data to absolve single mothers of any connection to the backgrounds of incarcerated youth.
It only surveyed about 10% of juveniles, so while it might be indicative, it should not be taken as a concrete fact. Now, the statistics on inmates are actually fairly easy to get, thanks again to the Bureau of Justice Statistics. And in 2002, they showed that the number of offenders from single mother homes actually dropped from 41 to 39% and went back up in 2016 to 41.1%. Meanwhile, homes with a father represented 40.7% of all offenders.
Did you see what he just did there? He actually told the truth. He said single mother homes, 41.1%. Okay? So if you have three categories, you have single mother homes, two parent households, and then you have single father households. That's three categories, right? Three. So if he just told you that 41.1% of all the juveniles or the prisoners that were in jail were from single mother households, what does that tell you? That is the majority of those three. So that would mean that the majority of those juveniles and or prisoners, whatever they're referencing, typically come from single mother households. Black women didn't hear that. They just heard the next portion of it. Let me listen closely.
It's almost neck and neck.
You see that? What did the comedian say? Let's go back.
Of black males who are in jail come from single mother homes.
70%, 80%. That statistic is 30 years old statistic. So it's also single fathers, kids who live with their grandparents, kids who live with their aunties, uncles. That's where that comes from. When you look at the real statistics, it's actually almost neck and neck.
Where did he get that from? From the white guy. What'd I tell you? This is how black men contribute to this foolery. And that's why we look dumb out here amongst black women. That's why they think we're less than. Because we are so easily manipulated by the white man's words that we won't even do our research for ourselves. You just literally said exactly what he said. And he lied to y'all. And I had no idea that I would have to do this for a black man. Because I expect certain things like this from black women because a lot of black women seek white men's validation. So when a white man comes to the rescue and says, hey, man, it's not single mothers, it's single fathers, I'm pretty sure that they're going to believe it. But for a black man, I expect more from us. And that's why I said this is embarrassing. Okay? Hold on, we're going to finish it.
Single parent households versus double parent households as far as men in prison.
Most deceptive example involves the white men who twisted the Department of Justice incarceration data to absolve single mothers of any connection to the backgrounds of incarcerated youth.
It only surveyed about 10% of juveniles, so while it might be indicative, it should not be taken as a concrete fact. Now, the statistics on inmates are actually fairly easy to get, thanks again to the Bureau of Justice Statistics. And in 2002, they showed that the number of offenders from single mother homes actually dropped from 41 to 39% and went back up in 2016 to 41.1%. Meanwhile, homes with a father represented 40.7% of all offenders. It's almost neck and neck. Meanwhile, homes with a father represented 40.7% of all offenders.
Let me show you what he did here. This is the same study that he's referencing. If you add 35.5% of prisoners who live with both parents and 5.2% of father-only households, 40.7, which is the number he purposely told women to make it seem like the number was closer than it actually is. Let's do the same for women. If you add 41.1% and 35.5%, children that grew up with mothers have a 76.6% chance of going to prison, a 35.9% difference from mothers and fathers. He actually did that on purpose because our women are sharing this information because they thought that it would make black men look bad. However, y'all look worse because you believe this white man before you even fact check this information.
Why wasn't you watching? White man from town, why wasn't you watching?
In one viral case, a white man cherry-picked a portion of a DOJ chart merging both parents and father-only households to create a false equivalence that minimized the impact of single mother households. When the data is correctly analyzed, the majority of incarcerated individuals across all races come from mother-led homes, not father-led. But black women uncritically spread his misinformation because they preferred his narrative over the actual stats.
We gotta change the word from...
Now watch this. Now since this comedian thought that he caught black men, or he was like, hey man, y'all been lying about the statistics, this is what leads black men to shame other black men in other areas. So he feels that I already got him, so now I'm gonna just pile on to it by saying these other false narratives about black men and black fathers. Listen.
Single mothers to absent fathers.
See that? Hold on, go back. The actual stat.
We gotta change the word from single mothers to absent fathers.
You see that? There it is. Now do y'all understand why this narrative is being pushed in black women's circles? Because black men say it. Black men don't know the statistics about their fellow brothers, about how we're the most involved and how the majority of us live in our households with our children, two-parent homes. Now he's going on a tirade because he feels that black men are attacking single mothers. I'm not attacking single mothers. I don't have a reason to. But what I will do is share the statistics. And this is one of the sticking points that is holding us back. If we are afraid to hold single mothers accountable and we keep trying to walk it back and say, no, it's the absent fathers that's the problem, we're going to continue where we are. And this is what the issue is. Here we go.
Others who abandon their children. F statistics and the stuff that we really see.
F statistics.
A lot of kids are emotionally messed up in today's world when they see their father move on to another family and act like that kid don't even exist. Y'all.
So, and he's repeating the white man's talking point again. That white guy in the whole video, he went down a whole thing of where, fathers, when they leave, they start families with other women, and they don't even see their kids. In that same study, the dude just said, well, they only studied 10%. They only studied the minimal amount of people for the study that he just referenced. But it's cool because it works in women's favor. You see how pandering works? Now he's like, F the statistics, but you just use the statistics to try and put single fathers in their place and put single mothers on this high pedestal. And granted, I understand it may seem like an attack when you hear everybody talking about single mothers. But I don't know why y'all have a problem with that, but you don't have a problem with talking about absent fathers, as if that wasn't true. That's how I know that people aren't being genuine in these conversations, being very disingenuous, because you're okay with calling out what you think single or absent fathers are doing, but you have a problem with holding single mothers accountable. But we're going to do that here, all for the sake of level setting the conversation. All right, let's continue.
Know them. I had a cousin who said, well, she won't even let me see my kids. She ain't let you see another woman, and you did it because that's what you wanted to do.
I don't know what this means. I mean, this anecdotal experience about his cousin, I'm not sure where he's going with this, but it's trying to create a narrative as if all black men do this. And yes, I am saying black men because the videos that were referenced from those little clips, they were all black men, even though there are, a gang of white men on social media saying the exact same thing about single mothers. I find it very, very interesting that the white guy found all of the black men talking about this. Now a black man gets a hold of it. So now black women in the comments are like, this is directed towards black men and black fathers, which is why I'm here. Okay.
You don't want to see your kid. If you want to see your kid, you want your name on the birth certificate, you can. Come on with all these damn excuses. Hold the men accountable. It's so easy to get on the internet on your whack podcast, attack single mothers like they want to be a single mother. Attack these men who leave their damn kids. And white people, please don't get in my comments, because every school shooter came from a double parent household. Maybe y'all community need more single mamas.
All right. And like I said, pandering. And I don't, he may or may not understand what he's doing, but he just caused a significant division between black men and black women, and also black men and black men, because guys like this, I don't want anything to do with them, because I know after I present this information, he's not going to do the same thing or show me the same respect as he did that white man by putting this on his page and saying, yo, here's the truth. I was wrong. But the narrative has to be set in place. If you want to align with black women, that means you have to demonize black men. I'm not willing to do that. Okay? Either black women going to follow or they going to leave me the F alone. Okay? And that's something that a lot of black men have to adopt. If we, as the leaders of the black community, can't tell them the truth, who will? And we keep lying to them, they're going to stay right where they are, stagnant and decreasing. Okay? This is our fault, brother. So let's get to it. Let's start right here. This is the report that everybody has been referencing, and I want to be very clear on this. This is from the Profile of Prison Inmates, the U.S. Department of Justice. Okay, same report. Of course, I could find anything. This is what I do for work. Okay, and Table 13 is what they're actually referencing. So as you can see right here, it says percent of all prisoners in the United States, federal prisoners and state prisoners by family background while growing up in 2016. Okay, so right here, this is what they're talking about. And you see how he said live with grandparents and all this stuff, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. Right there. Okay, so hopefully that's good enough for you guys. All right. So you see, both parents of all prisoners was 35.5%. One parent, 46.8%, but they split it, right? Mother, 41.1%. Father, 5.2%. And then he was saying split time between parents, 0.5%. Grandparents, 9.2%. So the highest group is one parent, but when you separate them, it is single mothers. Okay, 41.1%. And I'm speaking directly to black women and the comedian and any black man that was co-signing his message. Okay, look here, is only 5.2%. And since I do work in this field, I'm going to be fair and tell you why that is. It's because of the fact that there are more mothers who have custody of their children than single fathers. So that's why the number is so low. Okay? So even when I say that, I'm telling you why it is. Okay? And you can run with that. Just say that. The reason why is because mothers tend to get custody more than the fathers. But if you have custody of those kids, it is your responsibility to raise them right, since you're 100% you with the kid the majority of the time. So you have to take accountability for the children that you raise for the majority of the time. Even though 100% of black men and black women, they live with their children full time. Okay? But if you have custody of those kids, you are responsible. Stop trying to blame the father that doesn't have majority of the kid majority of the time, and saying, well, where is his father? His father is there. His father is present. But if you have primary custody, you have responsibility. Men can't do that. A father that has custody of his kids can't place accountability on the mother that's not in the household. So this is where single mothers need to step up and take some accountability and say, yo, yes, we are responsible. That's all it takes. And these conversations could be dead. But you keep trying to place the emphasis or onus on black men when you can't do that. All right? Because the common narrative is that, well, the father left. No, he didn't. What community are y'all talking about when you say fathers leave the children? because that is not the norm in the Black community. That is not the norm in any household. The men who actually leave their children are the minority in the United States, of all races of men. So this narrative that all these men are leaving their children is false. And I've already showed you guys from down to 70 years worth of studying historical references how it's become, a talking point in these spaces. It's because of the fact that Black men don't read, just like that comedian did not read. He listened. He listened to that white man. Okay, let's continue. I'm not done. We're breaking this all the way down. I'm getting tired of this. I'm glitching. Jesus Christ. What the hell is going on? It's still bad? Damn, man. Sweet Christmas. It's still, that's bad. Hold on. Yeah. Let me see here. I'm going to try and fix it. Damn, this is trash. Hold on. All right, let me see here. Give me a second. Let's see. Let me change it. Give me 1 second. I'm changing networks. Let's go here. God dang it. It should be trying to clear up in a second. Hold on. Give it a second. Give it a second. Hold on. Jesus. Let me do this. I'm going to drop out and then come on back in. Let me see if that works. Give me a second. Come right back. Wait. Yeah, that's okay. Come on, keep going. All right, let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Give me a second. Am I good? We good? Good. Cool. Okay. Cool. All right. Hey, Pooh Man, where did we leave off? Where did I leave off? Because I want to start right there. Do y'all remember what I said before it started to get blurry? Where did I leave off? What was I saying? Do I need to go back over the PDF again? Did I leave off right there? Was I good? Do I need to go over any of the percentages? Because we're gonna break it down here in a second. The combining of two stats. Okay, cool. The combining of two stats. All right. So let's just go back over this one more time. Thank you, Jay Kaysen. Appreciate that. All right. So right here, family background while growing up, lived most of the time with both parents was 35.5%. One parent, 46.8%. And then when you break that down into mother and father, it's 41.1%, and father 5.2%. So what the white guy did is he combined the 35.5% with the father only, which translated to 40.7%, which is why both of them said it's kind of neck and neck, because they said 41.1% for mother, and then they put 40.7% for father. But they were disingenuous by combining both parents with the father statistic. So that's how they duped black women into thinking that it was neck and neck. But when you add both parents to mother, it comes to a little over, let's see, 75%, like 76%. And then when you add both parents to father, it comes out to 40.7%. So you see that huge difference? And I'm going to break it down for you guys here in a second. So let's stop there. Let's go here. Now, so this is the breakdown of the actual reference that we just looked at. As you guys can see here, the release date was December 2021. This was not 30 years old like the comedian said. It was actually just, it's not new, but it's still relevant. Now I'll tell you why. So what this means, the data was collected in 2016 using in-person interviews inside prisons. Very accurate. The report was published 5 years later in 2021 after analysis, review, and verification. So it took 5 years to review this. So the data is not brand new, but it's still the latest full national inmate survey available. And I'm going to tell you why it's reputable. And we're going to go over this once we get to the PowerPoint, but this is a snapshot study, not a longitudinal one, meaning it measures the characteristics of prisoners at one point in time in 2016. Okay? So it doesn't mean all prisoners of all time that single mothers, those prisoners came from single mothers. It just means a snapshot for that particular year. And people have to understand that. For 2016, when they did the study, took 5 years to review and verify for that particular time. That's why in statistics it's called a snapshot, okay? And not longitudinal, which would mean above, a long time. I mean, it makes sense, right? Okay. So let's keep going. So it does not track how these same people changed over time. It does not compare 2016 prisoners to past or future inmates. However, and this is the very important part, the BJS has done versions of this survey before, 1991, 2004. So the series can be used to compare across decades, but each individual report is a standalone snapshot. And you know why this is more valid than, the most popular talking point in Black women's circles? They'll say black women and white men divorce at the lowest rate. And then they'll say black men and black women or black men and white women divorce at the highest rate. That study was done with references from 1970, 1980, all the way up to the 1990s. So that's old. It's considered vintage data. But what that study actually doesn't have, they didn't do that report again to justify the findings. So let's just say the report that black women are sharing about, them working better with white men was updated in, let's say, 2016. Okay, then you can compare it to the older study, the vintage data that they're citing, to say, okay, I see a trend here. Nothing has changed. White men and black women still make the best couples because they divorce the less. That hasn't happened. What has happened is new information has came out to say that black men have increased their interracial marriage rates to the point that it doesn't justify black men and white women being having a higher divorce rate. I already broke this down. I will clip it in here so everybody can understand. And what it does say now, most recently in 2018, is that black women have the highest divorce rates among all races and genders. Okay? So that's why this study is accurate and reputable, because they have multiple versions of it. So you compare all three together and like, oh, okay, the trend has remained the same. So just like the white guy said, he was like, yeah, it did decrease slightly to like 39%. Then it went back up to 41.1%. So there's your trend line. That's a trend analysis. Okay. So if in 1991, 2004, and 2016, they all say the same thing about single mothers. Most prisoners come from single mother households. You have 3 decades of information where you can look and see a consistent trend. So that's how you come to the conclusion that the majority of those prisoners who are prisoners come from single mother households. Make sense? Okay, Black community. Jesus. You got to use an example of that. And I wonder, you know what's funny? I wonder why I think I'm going to tag the comedian in the divorce, statistic that Black women are sharing in regards to white men, because he made it seem like if the study was 30 years old, then it doesn't matter. I wonder how he will react when I show him the study that Black women are referencing, that they work better with white men. And that's damn near, 50 years old. But Black women are still referencing it and throwing it in Black men's face. You see, when we marry white men, we divorce less. But if you're going to, discard a 30-year, quote unquote, 30-year study, you got to discard the 50-year study, right? But will you do that? Or you kind of a little scared that it's going to look bad on you if you share that with Black women, because they hang on to that statistic. You see? And that's why a lot of people call dudes panders, because you're not pointing out the truth, or you're alleviating the facts that make Black women look bad. Sometimes you have to do that. That's the only way that we're going to change, that Black women are going to change, if they figure out the flaws in their patterns. Can't keep pandering, man. Okay? Lord. So, is this data accurate? Yes. Accurate and official data set you can use for this topic. And it comes from the U.S. Department of Justice. Everybody under BJS is the federal agency that maintains national level criminal justice statistics. Then number 2, uses the survey of prison inmates. This is nationally representative, based on in-person interviews conducted inside prisons, covered state and federal inmates, uses probability sampling, not voluntary responses. This gives it very strong statistical reliability. Okay. Now, large sample sizes, and I'm going to break this down thoroughly for you guys in the PowerPoint. So they surveyed roughly 24,000, almost 25,000 state prisoners. They surveyed about 6,600 federal prisoners. That's 31,000 inmates. An extremely strong sample. Go back. Low missing data. The table that I'm referencing, table 13, less than 6% missing data. This makes the results stable and credible. Okay? So remember the white guy was like, oh man, it's 10%. It's only 10%. No, this is a reputable study. Anybody can look this stuff up. Okay? So that alleviates throwing this out and acting like it doesn't, fit the criteria. And again, we're going to cover this. Hold on. Now, what the comedian Joel and the white guy was doing, they are taking both parents, as I stated, 35.5%, father only, then combining them. I did all this before ChatGPT was a thing, and you got the same number, 40.7%. You see that? Then they compare that to mother only, which is 41.1%. And this is what they come out with. See, it's basically the same, i.e. neck and neck. So it's not single mothers. It's the same outcomes as having fathers. Bam. Okay. So if I've been saying this for the past 2 years, now you got ChatGPT saying the same thing. There it is. I mean, I don't know why we do this. Just because it makes black men, look in a positive light. Is that why people are afraid to acknowledge that? Why is it so taboo to say that black men are doing well? I don't understand this fixation with trying to make, us the bad guy. Very interesting in the black community. We're not done. Okay, so this is intellectually dishonest because they group both parents with father only, but refuse to group both parents with mother only. That alone shows you the manipulation. It's a selective combination to force an outcome that looks close enough to support their narrative. So the honest comparison, real numbers. If you follow their own logic, here's what you'll actually get. If both parents counts as functional two-parent environment, then you must add it to both groups for comparison. Parents plus mother only, 35.5% plus 41.1% equals 76.6%. And then if you group both parents with father only, it's 40.7%. Their combined number isn't even in the same galaxy as 76.6%. I didn't write that. I had ChatGPT fact check my videos, and this is what they wrote. So the claim falls apart immediately. Let's check here. So this is how you read it. We already went over this. So the correct interpretation is nearly half of all inmates grew up with a single mother. Only 1 in 20 grew up with a single father. You do not combine both parents with one side unless you combine it for both sides. And when you do, the difference becomes overwhelming. So why are they doing this? And I love when ChatGPT talks about this. Said this is the pattern you've been calling out. When the data shows that single mother households produce drastically worse outcomes, people start scrambling to massage the numbers. So they do things like combining categories that shouldn't be combined, refusing to combine the same category on the other side, cherry picking to make fathers look equivalent to mothers, claiming black men are lying about fatherhood outcomes, protecting single motherhood from criticism. It's a narrative defense, not statistical analysis. There you go. Very simple, clear cut, and to the point. Black women, it is manipulation. You are being pandered to. Okay? Understand that right now so you can start calling these guys out. Okay? It's black men are me. I can speak for myself. I ain't against y'all, but one thing I will not let the black community or anybody in our fucking community do is lie on black men just so they can make black women look good when that shit needs to be called out, because y'all have no issue trying to call out black men on these false ass narratives that's been being pushed in the black community for decades. Hell, we got the comedians sitting there citing that black men aren't in their children's households. That's been debunked a long time ago. So yeah, I don't care who it is, white, black, whoever. You will not lie on black men. You will not fabricate the studies. You will not combine certain things to make black men look bad. Absolutely not. It won't happen. And every time I do some dumb shit like this, it's always going to be somebody that's watched my content and they going to tag me in it. I'm going to make an example out of y'all asses every time. And until black women wake the fuck up and stop letting these people pander to y'all and sit there and say, oh yeah, we perfect. Black men are the problem. Your black men are leaving. Okay? I got a whole video that I'm working on because I keep seeing this narrative. Y'all the leaders of the community. What's the solutions? Y'all ain't building nothing. I got something for y'all asses because I'm going to show you systematically how black men have been increasing and black women, y'all need to get your weight up. Okay? How black men have been increasing in the fight amongst all races of men and how you guys are slowly declining. Nobody is willing to tell y'all that in a professional manner. But you know who will? Me. That's who. I got you. I got all y'all. You keep bringing that up. Oh, man, y'all the leaders. Y'all responsible, for us. It's okay. I got you. It's something I told you guys. It's something that I learned in the military. When you are the leaders, that doesn't mean that everybody that follows you is going to like the decision that you make when you're the leader. Okay? So being a leader may not necessarily involve a lot of y'all asses. Okay? That decision is made by the leaders. So if you don't fit certain criteria or you believe certain things, trust and believe, as the leaders of the community, you will be left behind. And that's one of the tough decisions that a lot of leaders have to do. Okay? You can try and teach people, tell them the truth. If they don't acknowledge it, you got to go. And you can press your luck with the white guys and see if they will take you. Okay? Rely on that. I'm in certain situations, I like to see a good joke. I want to see those black women who hate black men try and press your luck with the white guys marrying you. I'm gonna sit back and watch, and I'm gonna laugh and I'm gonna laugh. Just wait. I wish somebody would come and we just go to white. Okay. Do it. Yeah. All right, let me get these super chats. That shit pissed me off, man. Black man. John Doe, what up though? 499 Bomb said the white man has oppressed us so effectively that they have been able to stand back and watch us oppress ourselves for the last 60 years. Yeah, man, it's been no truer statement. And you see it right now. We sit there repeating false narratives. And it's sad, man. It's just absolutely sad. Wokewood, what up though? Like I said, stream looking like AOL dial-up. Okay, I'm still good. I got it up right here. Yeah, we're good. 504 Cushy Kush is a cold name. 99 cents. Thank you, brother. A buckaroo. And then Dante Bryant, $5 bomb, said Medium Man said you can listen to Jimmy, but you can't hear Jimmy. Sorry. LJ Wisdom, what up though? $5 bomb said, bro, thanks for this class. It's exhausting to see stats get bastardized so often in these spaces. Man, it is crazy. Let's see here. Dante Bryant, $2 super just said his soft ass ain't gonna share nothing. Yeah, and it's sad. He's so quick to share that information. But I'm tagging this brother. I done tagged him in a video and also in two, statistical breakdowns to show, like, hey, man, what you saying about black men is not true. It has never been true that black men haven't been involved in their children's lives. And we always talk about, the white man holding us down. Like I said, man, white men ain't been holding us down. We doing it ourselves because it's so ingrained. Like, God, dog, pick up a book, pick up a tablet or something, read. Alexander, what up though? Been a member for 22 months. Appreciate that, good brother. Good to see you here. So hit the like button. Thank you. And then Dante Bryant, there's a spiritual war going on. No black man is safe from. What is that from? Sound familiar? Dante Bryant, $5 bomb, said, yep, certain people got to be left behind if the black community is ever going to get better. And like I said, you may not like the leader's answers, and I don't think the black community has accepted what's been going on with black men. I told y'all, I'm working on something here so I can catalog all this stuff. Black men ain't building nothing. I heard some lady, y'all sent me a video of a girl saying, she said it like in a distasteful manner when they were talking about, marriage. And one of the guys was like, yeah, generational wealth and building, we got to take care of our money. So that's why we need prenups. And she said it so flippant, like, well, black women, we ain't getting, if we talk about money, y'all ain't got no money. So whoever we marry, we ain't marrying for money. And she was like laughing about it. And I'm like, black woman, do y'all know where y'all stand in the income hierarchy? To say that any man that a black woman marries is an economic income upgrade. Because for one, y'all rank seventh in the earnings income department. 7th. Hispanic women who are married at a much higher rate than y'all. I think Hispanic women's marriage rate is like 45 to 47%, even though they make the lowest amount of money. And then you have who? Black women. So what that means is every race of men earns more than you. So yes, it is an upgrade if you marry anybody, to include black men. Okay? Because we make more than Hispanic men. So no, black men are not the bottom of the barrel. And we have more wealth. We generated more wealth on average than black women. So yes, Every man that you choose to marry, if you decide, or if you get chosen for marriage, would be an upgrade. So I don't know where this narrative comes from. Like, you can laugh in the face of black men like we ain't doing better than a lot of people. Okay? Black men, did y'all know that black men, we have the most minority millionaires in the United States? Black men. Did y'all know that? Okay. This video is going to hit hard because the black community need to understand how black men are excelling. Okay? So yeah, it's just said it's so flippant. Like, hey, we ain't marrying for money. Black men ain't got no money. I never understood how y'all can say that. The weirdest thing, like you pointing up at us, you ain't got no money, and y'all, Lord, are so ass backwards. Boy. 504 Cushy Kush. That's cool. I like that name. $2 bombs at Double M spitting bars like AZ. AZ, that's my guy, man. I've been sharing some old music recently. Is it euros? Oh, we $9.99. Is that euros? Thank you, Maze 2512. Thank you. I'll be in Europe in a little bit. So I gotta find that clip. I'm gonna look on Instagram. Yeah, it was so crazy. Like, she was just, yeah, we ain't married for money. Ha ha. Like, good God. Let me see. All right. Erroneous C $5 bomb said, I think a problem is we will say the black community is not monolithic, but ultimately shame anyone with a non-monolithic thought process. That's always been the case, especially for black men. My God, you can't think, outside the box or think for yourself. And I asked her, I'm not going to get into that just yet, but we get to it. But so let's go over this statistical and data literacy. This should be good. I said, guys, bear with me. Where's my... Hold on, I almost got it together. All right. No, that's not going to work. All right, let me bring this up. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm gonna make this. We can make this bigger. Okay, that should be good. Having in the bottom right, it should be good enough. So, data literacy for the real world. How to read statistics in black community conversations. If you guys don't know my background, I'm currently at work right now. I will get it going. But yeah, so I've been working in the public health field for 20 years now, 15 years in the military sector, and then 5 years in the civilian world currently. I have a master's degree in public health with the concentration in biostatistics and also global health. I have a bachelor's degree in nutrition and nutrition science. I have a associate's degree in public health technology and in criminal justice. So 4 degrees total with various certificates and all types of stuff, that I did in the military as a civilian, so on and so forth. So I've been working in this field for a while. So it just warms my heart that I get to share some of my nerd information to you guys. So here we go. So let's get to it. All right. So why most people get stats wrong? It's a mindset problem. So viral stats, as you guys just saw, they lack context. People confuse snapshots with trends, which is what I just mentioned with the prison information. Most don't understand denominators, sample size, population. We're going to discuss that here in a second. And also black community examples. I put those in here so we can make it a little bit more relatable. So 1 in 3 black men have a felony. You guys have heard this before, right? Lifetime risk, not current reality. And we're going to go over that here in a second. So 36% of black men are married. It's valid, but you must understand the categories. Okay, so you guys can kind of see how this live stream is going to go, because what I've learned is that most disagreements online come from people not understanding statistical context. Context simply means the surrounding information that gives a statistic its real meaning. So without context, numbers become weapons. And you guys just saw that with the white guy and the comedian. So people react emotionally to percentages because they don't know what population is being measured, what the denominator represents, or how large the sample size was. They don't realize that a statistic can be technically true, yet totally misleading when stripped of its details. That's why so many myths spread in discussions about the black community, whether it's fatherhood, marriage, income, or crime. People are arguing with numbers they don't fully understand. All right? Here we go. So, snapshot versus trends. And we just went over this. I'm glad we had that example. So, snapshot equals right now. So, if we were to take a survey or a poll in this chat, that would be right now. A trend would be over time. So, let's say every time I do a live stream, we do a survey with the chat. And then we can come to a determination like, yes, this is the trend for this particular group, for Medium Men's Chat. So for an example, how I did the trend analysis with black men, the marriage percentages. So 36% of black men are married, and that was done in 2022. In 2024, 37%. 2026 to 2027, that is projected to go to 38 to 40%. So the snapshots fuel the myths, and then the trends reveal the truth. That is why black men's marriage rates are on the increase, okay? Because we have all the information. So when we look at the statistics, we have to distinguish between the snapshot versus trends. So like I said, a snapshot is that one data point, that 1 year or one survey. And most people, one moment. But a trend is what happens across many years, showing direction and patterns. So what I've learned in the black community, most information comes from treating a snapshot like it's a trend. So a good example would be someone will share a single year statistic about marriage or incarceration and act like it represents 50 years of behavior. You can't do that. But when you track the data over time, you often see a completely different story. It either increases, decreases, or stabilizes that a single year number can't reflect. So trends reveal the truth and snapshots provoke panic. All right. And that's how we need to start looking at it in the black community. Let's continue. So the 4 questions that you can use to fix 80% of bad stats. Okay. And I want y'all to have this information for yourselves. Ask that person, what is the population? What is the denominator? What is the source? What is the time frame? So on and so forth. These 4 questions destroy most viral misinformation. So again, guys, in the chat, before accepting any statistic, to include the statistics that I share, I want you to ask these questions. Run it through, the checks first, because these 4 ideas give you more clarity than anything else. They will help you identify whether a data point is, relevant to the conversation. And then once you train your mind to evaluate numbers this way, most viral statistics immediately collapse because they cannot survive basic scrutiny. Okay? Which is what we just did. These 4 questions are the foundation of data literacy. These 4: population, denominator, source, time frame. Remember that. Screenshot it. Okay, so, and this is just some examples that I put together for you guys. We can take a look at it real quick. So, what is the population? Examples of the differences: all black adults. Are you taking it? Was this survey taken from all black adults, or was it only taken from black men ages 18 to 29, which is typically what I look at when I do the crime reports, if you guys remember that. So then, Are you looking at only married people or the total population? Only formerly incarcerated are people who are currently incarcerated. And for the black community example, black men have the lowest marriage rate. If somebody says that, I've heard this before. False. When compared properly by gender and race, the lowest marriage rate belongs to black women, okay? And black men are on the cusp of catching Hispanic men, all right? And then question number 2, what is the denominator? The denominator equals what the percentage is based on. So the example would be 83% of single mothers are black. That would be completely false because the actual denominator shows black single mothers are only 28% of the population. Now that's key because the numbers that I've been telling you guys in regards to 69.3%, that is of the black women who have actually had children. So if we know that 61% of black women have birthed a child, and of those 61%, 69.3% have had a child out of wedlock. But if you extrapolate that out to the total population, black women themselves only account for 28% of the single mothers, which means there are 72% of other single mothers that are white, Hispanic, and Asian, and other groups, okay? So in that, right, that puts things into perspective of black women's single mother rates. But when you use the per capita, argument, if black women only account for 7% of the population, 7.5% of the population, but 28% account for 28% of all the single mothers, that looks bad. But when you look at the raw total numbers or percentage, it's 28%. So that's how you hear a lot of white people use per capita. This is what they're looking at. But if the difference is so large, for example, with white men committing the majority of violent crimes at 59.1%, they account for the most arrests. That number is so large in comparison to the black population and our numbers, then it's kind of minute to even mention per capita, okay? So another example would be 21% of married black men marry out. The denominator equals married men, not all men. So if I said that of the, how many black men is it in the workforce? It's about 15.2 million black men in the workforce. So if I told you that 21% of 15.2 million black men are married to non-black women, that would be a large amount, okay? But it's not true because it's from the married black men. So if 36% of black men are married, of that 36%, 21% within that group are married to non-black women. 79% are married to black women, okay? So that's why, that's how you I guess get that figure. And then you have to ask, what is the source? And you guys always see me cite my sources. I put the references in APA format and in chronological order under all of my statistical videos, so I'll make it easier for you guys. So always check if it's from the CDC, Pew Research, ACS, BLS, DOJ, not blogs, TikTok, or advocacy posts. If the source is weak, the stat is weak, okay? Let's keep going. And hopefully, let me stop and get some super chats because I know this is going on. And I'm not, please let me know in the chat if I'm going a little bit too fast and I need to, I guess, expound on certain things. I have no problem doing that. Okay. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a super chat or a Cash App or something like that. If you guys need me to slow down, I absolutely will. Okay. Let me get some of these super chats. I'm trying to get y'all as much information as possible. What's up? Pac-Man $2 super chat said, Medium Man really made a PowerPoint. That boy good. This ain't the first time, man. If Pooh Man know, I don't mind. So thank you. Olua gifted 2 Medium Man memberships. Oh, thank you again. You always contributing to the memberships. Thank you. If you were so lucky enough to grab one of those memberships, please make sure you give Olua a thanks. And please make sure you maintain it on the behalf of Oluwa's donation. Hold on, I get to play the ladies.
Look, certified babe.
I don't even know if y'all can have this. Baby, I ain't average. Wrap it up and sign me like a package. Piling on a bitch, I am the Mavericks.
Mo. Thank you, Olawa. Two times. I'm good, Pooh Man. Thank you, Pooh Man. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Air Force Rick, $2 bomb says salute media man and chat. What up, though? All right, let's get back to cooking. Oh, let me get a little. There we go. That will work a little bit better. Let's go back. Okay, here we go. All right. Question 4. What is the time frame? Time frame determines accuracy. So lifetime versus snapshot. 1990 versus 2024. Chance over lifetime versus current percentage of population. So in the black community, example would be 1 in 3 black men go to prison. Applies to a 2001 cohort, not today's black men. And we have to be very specific with this one. Okay, so module 3, biostatistics for regular people. And I tried to do this as simple as possible, man, because I didn't want to get too analytical about this, but I think it's very easy to explain. So the basics matter: prevalence versus incidence, correlation versus causation, risk ratios, sample versus population, margins of error. This is the decoder ring for social media information. Okay, if you understand these, it is very simple to see who is BSing you and who's not. Okay, so to read the statistics confidently, you only need a few biostatistical concepts. So prevalence tells you how common something is at that specific moment. Okay, incidence tells you how many cases occur over time. Okay, correlation means 2 variables move together, while causation means 1 variable directly influences the other. Okay, let me say that one more time. So correlation means 2 variables move together, while causation means 1 variable directly influences the other. All right. So, and then also risk ratio compares the likelihood of an outcome between groups. And these concepts typically show up in nearly every public health or social statistic used in conversations about the black community. All right. And I actually went over all of this. I mean, I just explained, but I don't want to, if you have, matter of fact, I'm here. I got time. So prevalence versus incident. Super important. Again, snapshot today, incidents, new events over time. And I just told you guys about that. So prevalence and incidents are often confused online because prevalence describes what is happening right now, such as the current involvement levels of black fathers. Incidence describes the probability of an event happening at any point in someone's life, like incarceration. So a lifetime statistic cannot be used to describe present day conditions. When you separate these two ideas, many misleading claims immediately lose their power. This is one you have to master, especially on social media when you're dealing with false information. Okay, let's continue. All right, so correlation versus causation. All right, so correlation doesn't necessarily mean cause. So example would be ice cream sales and drownings. That's a classic example. Okay, black women's degrees cause singleness. False. Black men marry out because they hate black women. False. Correlation helps explain, not blame. All right. And I keep saying everything is super important, but this one is actually important as well because a major source of misunderstanding comes from confusing correlation with causation. And correlation happens when 2 things, like I said, move together, but that doesn't automatically mean that one caused the other. And this is typically happens when you talk about black men marrying interracially. Okay. So causation means that there's a direct cause and effect relationship. In social data, many variables influence outcomes. So income, geography, age, education, timing, opportunity. And more recent one is personality, character, agreeableness, likability, all this type of stuff. It means a little bit more to Black men in regards to marriage and relationships now. Back in the day, there was a lot of Black men that were willing to accept the "take me as I am" mantra. Now they're rejecting it. Okay. So I think Black men in some cases, yes, I understand we still like a big booty and shit. You know what I'm saying? Looks is always going to trump everything. But back in the day, that was the only thing that matters for a lot of Black men. Now it's like, okay, she got a big booty and a pretty face. Can I rock with you? Are you agreeable? Are you nice? Do you listen to foolery on social media? And if none of those things align, there are more Black men walking away from that big booty. Okay. Good job, Black men. And I know y'all like to dibble in it. I know the game. Oh my God. We're supposed to be serious here. All right. So when people treat correlation like causation, they create oversimplified explanations for complex issues. Is that plain and simple, guys and ladies? I'm sorry. Let's see here. Let's continue. Bang. So ratios made simple. Risk ratios. So always ask, compared to what baseline? How large is the sample? What groups are we comparing it against? And then the Black community example would be Black women have the highest divorce rate. And it depends on age, income, region, marriage timing, sample size. So all that needs to be factored in when we start doing or discussing risk ratios. It actually helps us understand how likely an outcome is for one group compared to the other. All right. So, and I think I want to use, now I'll wait to use that example because I have it covered, but it does show the relative probability, not a guaranteed result. So when I say that, if I say that Black women or Black men have Black men have the highest divorce rates among all men, you have to start looking at everything else. What risk ratios do they have? Or you can ask, well, who do Black men typically marry? And then if I say, well, Black men typically marry Black women, and then your next response would be what? Well, what is Black women's divorce rate? Well, Black women's divorce rate is the lowest amongst all races and genders. Oh, so now we have a correlation. You see how that works? So it's like, well, if Black men have the highest divorce rates among all men, but they tend to marry the women that have the highest divorce rates among all races and genders, then the correlation and causation would be Black women's high divorce rates. And also, like Olu just said, who was filing the most divorces? Well, on average, women initiate 73% of divorces. Well, can you break that down by age and race? Yes. Black women tend to file divorces at a higher rate than the average woman of 73%. So the correlation and causation to Black men's high divorce rates is due to Black women filing the most and, initiating divorce the most and having the highest divorce rates. That's how you just simply break down a topic. And the reason why I use that is because I see people saying that. And again, Black women throwing in the Black men's face. You guys have the highest divorce rates. You guys just learned how correlation and causation works. All right. So let's continue. Let's see here. And then I think I have a 60-second that I was doing with one of my coworkers. This should work. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So the 60-second fact check, the 1-minute method. Who published it? Show me the table /source link. Who is the population? Does the number make sense? So the example would be if 75% of women of color never marry. Impossible. ACS shows majority of all women marry at least once. Let's stop right there. Because I know y'all looking at that and like, well, media man, I've heard that so many times that 3 out of 4 Black women will never marry. It's not true at all. Okay. It has never been true. And you guys have never heard me repeat that talking point, but I'm addressing it now. The truth of the matter is women of all races will marry at least once. At least. Remember, second marriages work, the percentage of it working goes down. Third marriages, percentage of it goes down. So yes, this is actually me clearing up something for Black women. So it's not true that 3 out of 4 Black women will never marry. Because for one, you can look at the current statistics now. 29% of Black women are married. And I know there's going to be a Poindexter in the chat. Well, that's only 4% median man. Let me show you something else that's only 4%. What if I was to tell you that 54% of Black men have never fathered a child? But if you take away the 4% of that breaks it down, that bumps it down to 50%. Now you leave the door open for the Black community to say, well, half the Black men have fathers, are fathers, and half of them don't take care of their kids. You see how important that 4% was? And now it goes to 54% of Black men have never fathered a child to 46% of Black men who have ever fathered a child, which would debunk the fact that Black men are deadbeats. Okay? Because for one, the majority of Black men don't even have a child. That's how important 4% is. So when I give Black women 4% from 25% to 29%, it matters, especially when you're talking about statistics. Okay? We have margin of errors and all this type of stuff that factored is. It can go plus or minus. It matters. So to every Black man, stop repeating that statistic. It's not true. Make sense? All right. All right. Did I clear it up? Any Black men feel some type of way about that? I know it's popular, but it's not true. Okay. I know it's median man trying to. That was a simple explanation. I hope we get it. All right. So, like I said, I use a simple 1-minute process to test whether the statistic is legitimate, and I just gave it to you guys, a 60-second fact check. So I check if the claim names its source, whether the number aligns with the known population sizes, whether the denominator makes sense, and whether the time frame is current. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot. All right. So if the claim fails any one of these checks, chat, it's unreliable. Most viral statistics collapse instantly once you run this quick audit. All right. All right. So there you go. You got my little quick method. This is how I use this 60-second fact check to determine that woman, Tiffany Calloway, was lying about 92% of Black men who have children with white women. They leave them. They become single mothers. I use this 60-second fact check, and I should have introduced this a long time ago for you guys, but I didn't. So that's a failure on my behalf. So, yeah. All right. All right. So let's go to population check and misuse. So race plus gender myth. So most misinformation about Black men and women, it typically comes from misreading the population. You guys just saw that in real time. Using group data for individuals, mixing categories, i.e. both parents and single fathers, emotions, hatred, propaganda. Examples that I like to use: the crime stats misuse, the arrest data as if it represents the population. That's one that white folks like to use all the time. And again, a lot of misinformation spreads because data is applied to the wrong population. So people use arrest data to describe all Black men, or apply marriage data for women to men, or combine groups with very different life circumstances. So this is what we call data misclassification, where people are placed in the categories they do not belong in. So, and this is why you have data analysis, okay? It inflates problems and leads to inaccurate portrayals of entire communities. That's why you got white folks sharing some picture about Black men, responsible for 50% of the deletions and all this stuff. Y'all have heard this, the 50% narrative. Yeah, that's how they do us. Okay. And then how to present the data clearly, because I know of some folks that want to get into this business. I've done consults of, the paths that I took to get to the current position that I am in my career field. But this is how you present data clearly. And I'm trying to do this in real time with this live stream. Hopefully it's going well for you guys. So your brand, this is my brand. My channel is built around protecting the Black male ethnic image and make sure we level set these Black relationship conversations in a truthful manner. Okay. So I typically teach you guys to use analogies. That's something that I had to learn in these spaces because I used to speak to certain things that didn't have an analogy to go with it. You see how I just did the 54% of Black men not having children and the Black women who have ever been married? That will be, a good analogy. Okay. So size of the bucket, whole numbers, 3 out of 10 versus 29.3%. I've learned in YouTube, people respond better to 3 out of 10 as opposed to me saying 29.3% because it makes it a little bit easier. All right. So trends instead of snapshots, comparison bars. You guys see me use those. I started to implement those a little more. Men versus women, race versus race. This actually makes the data digestible when you got pictures. So clear data presentation is definitely essential when you're speaking to the general public, which is what, we do on YouTube. So people relate better to analogies, everyday language, and also whole numbers. So like I said, simplifying percentages into ratios like 3 out of 10 makes the information more, intuitive. So showing visualizations like trend lines or comparison bars, it helps us see the differences instantly instead of using a bunch of words or numbers. So if you or when you, when information is presented clearly, you guys, the audience, can understand and retain it without feeling overwhelmed. So that's why I had to stop to make sure that I wasn't going too fast, because I tried to make this as palatable as possible. All right. Sometimes the live streams ain't going to be as entertaining, but they will be informative. And this is one of them. Okay. All right. So let's continue. And then the power of analogies. I wanted to take some time here for a second. Like I said, the incidents, water filling a bucket, denominator, size of the bucket, marriage market, supply/demand graph, median income, middle seat on the plane. It's simple. So analogies make the data memorable. All right. And then use trends, not single years. So like I said, I like to use the trend analysis, projections, 38 to 40%. We just went over that. So one chart destroys the Black men don't marry myth. All right. So once 2027 hits, man, that 40% is going to look pretty good, man. So, hey, that's respectable. So salute to you, Black men. So how statistics get manipulated. And this is very important in these spaces. So common tricks. You guys have seen this in real time. Cherry picking, small sample fallacy. I just told you guys about that. When a Black man decides that, hey, I don't think marrying or dating Black women is working for me, people will respond to him and say, well, have you dated all Black women? That will be an example of a small sample fallacy. You have to date all Black women to come to the conclusion that Black women don't work for you. No. And that goes for Black women as well. If you feel that Black men ain't working for you, I'm not going to say, well, you need to date all these Black women. You need to move to California. What about New York? They different up there. If you determine that Black men ain't working for you, please, by all means, leave us the F alone. And the same thing for y'all as Black men. If you don't think Black women work for you, leave our asses the F alone. So see here. Misusing percentages, mixing categories, never married plus divorced plus widowed. And a good example would be Black women have the biggest increase in X, but sample size was tiny. That's why sample size is very important. And there's several predictable ways people manipulate statistics. Cherry picking, I mean, that's a simple one. It just simply selects numbers or only numbers that support a preconceived narrative. We see this all the time. The small sample fallacy, as I stated, exaggerates the findings from an insufficient group size. A non-representative sample applies results from one unrepresentative group to an entire population. This happens when we talk about the crime statistics for Black men. These are things that you guys have heard me talk about before, but now it's a little bit more understanding about it, okay? So, mixed categories, simple, never combined, never married, divorced, separated, widowed. The Pew Research break this down thoroughly. So, you can't use that as if it's one group. So, most Black women are single, mixes multiple categories to exaggerate the number. So, with this example, 46% of Black women currently have never been married. Pew Research breaks this down as well. So that would mean that, what is that? 54% of Black women have either been divorced, separated, or widowed. Okay, so that debunks the narrative once again that only that 3 out of 4 Black women will never marry. Simple. All right. Let me see here. Let's keep going. Right. Nope. Let's stop right here. Okay, cool. Got that one. But I do want to go here. I did this for you guys. Let's take a quick exhale. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. So let me get this off here. Because the next part that we're going to discuss is definitely very important because I have some examples of some of the stuff that I've shared in the past so you guys can understand it. But this course that I just taught you guys is simply designed to give you full control over the information that you're going to encounter. Because once you understand the basic definitions, population, denominator, prevalence, incidence, risk ratios, and once you know how to check in time, check sources and time frames, no statistic can be weaponized against you. I promise you. That's why this is so easy for me when I see a narrative and I'm like, yeah, I see what you're trying to do. Because, after this, hopefully you guys will be able to break down any claim instantly, especially the ones used to misrepresent Black men, Black women in our community as a whole. Okay. So that was my overarching point of doing this, somewhat course so you guys can understand how to identify certain false narratives about our community. Okay. Hopefully I was able to land and everybody understood it, as much as possible. This is going to get clipped up so you can have it for yourselves. But yeah, if you need to screenshot something, please do so. That's why I left the overlay of the PowerPoint up there so you can just remember certain rules. 60-minute or 60-second fact check, the little checklist. Yeah, just all right. All right. So yeah, it should be good to go. So thank y'all for sitting with me through this. Okay. This is definitely fun for me. Y'all see me laugh. I get to teach worksheet. This is cool. All right. So let's go here. Now we're going to cover this real quick. Type of survey research, sample size requirements, and why they're accurate. So I'm going to use some examples. So let's check this out. So nationally representative surveys. If you see this, you think NSFG, the National Survey of Family Growth, Pew Research, the Current Population Survey, CPS. You will see that on certain websites all the time. So the sample size for nationally representative surveys, it needs to be either between 1,000 or 2,500 nationally, and then 10,000 for subgroup comparison. So when we break down the survey results, you need to make sure this was the sample size. Okay. So remember, like I said, the white guy, he tried to discredit the study by saying it was only 10%. But in certain surveys, it is accepted to have that small amount, which you guys can see with the nationally representative surveys. Okay. So just remember that point, because there's a lot of people that try and discredit your statistics because they say, how many people were surveyed? How many people did they use? Oh, no, you can't use that for everybody. No, you absolutely can. Okay. And I'm showing you why. All right. Let's continue. All right. So this is a case. This is a use case. So marriage gap, 36% black men, 29% black women. Relationship desire differences from the Public Library of Science. I showed you guys this recently. So why this is accurate? Using probability sampling, not convenience. It is weighted to reflect the entire U.S. population. Weighted. Large enough samples to provide stable, black specific estimates. So this is why it's important. Okay. And here's a good example of the stuff that we use. So right here, this was the report that I used to determine that there are a significant amount of black women that don't want marriage. And this comes from PLOS, Public Library. Let's see here. So gender differences in marriage, romantic involvement, and desire for romantic involvement among older African Americans. So you can see right here across all age groups, African American women are more likely than their male counterparts to report that they neither have nor desire romantic relationships. Okay. So that's why I put out, I was talking about, when I hear black women talking to, the majority of black women on social media saying that they don't want marriage. They say that it's like liking to slavery. I've heard this before. And then I've seen a significant of black women saying that it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend. Y'all seen that article? So you put that together and like, wonder if this translates or correlates with other studies. So what did I do? I started to research it. I started to look at how the trend analysis went for black women's marriage rates. I saw it was declining. And then I found a couple of studies, i.e. this one, that shows that, it seems like when black women say I'm single by choice, they are actually telling the truth. Does that make sense? So if I have all these data points, including what I see on social media, and they're saying, I just don't want marriage, that's the truth. So that's why I told you guys, using that as an insult, it's not going to hit the way you think it's going to hit with the majority of black women, because the majority of them, they don't want marriage, or the marriage has to look a certain way, because there's a lot of black women that's still in their impression that every other race of women are stay-at-home moms, even though they can look to the left and look to the right and they can see white, Hispanic, Asian women working right next to them. But they still under the impression that the only people that's going 50-50 is black men. Go figure, right? So if it doesn't look a certain way, then they're not going to accept it. And that's not for you as a black man to change their mind. If that's how they feel, so be it. Okay? So that's how I came to the conclusion that, I don't think it's a insult anymore, because I don't think they want marriage. All right? There you go. Let's continue. Not all black women, but the majority. So, all right. So federal health and demographic surveys. So, and this will be NSFG again. They do these as well. NHIS, ACS, they do all this. So the sample size minimum for these types of references would be 5,000 to 10,000 per year, and then 20,000 to 100,000 when combined. So the use case would be the 54% of black men have never fathered a child. This is one, and I'm going to show you guys a great example of why this stuff matters and why it pisses a lot of people off. I got something for you guys, but 54% of black men have never fathered a child. 61% of black women have given birth. 69.3% non-marital birth rate. So why this is accurate? Massive sample sizes with oversampling of black Americans. Face-to-face, federally supervised data collection. And it spans multi-year cycles to ensure low margins of error. I've showed you guys from 2006, 2010, 2015, and 2019 how far these studies go back. So yes, the 54% of black men never fathered a child is absolutely credible, reliable, and accurate. All right. And here's a quick look at that. This is where you could find this information from. So you can see the data source. It'll show you everything that you need to know about this study. And then it shows you right there what the percentages break down to, okay? Now, this is a good one. Political and election polling. So you can use examples like Gallup, IPSOS, and then YouGov. The sample size for them, their threshold, the minimum is 600 to 1,500 nationally, and then 300 to 600 statewide, okay? The use case would be the passport statistics that I use. So most black men have passports, but are not passport bros, okay? So why this is accurate? Random digit dialing. I'm going to explain that in a second. Plus online probability samples, weights adjust for race, income, gender, and region, and then error margins published and transparent. So they show you if they had any issues with gathering the data on these sites. And I put this together. You guys seen this before. I was breaking down the population size, 340 million. There are 169 million valid passports in circulation. Well, that was in 2024. I'm pretty sure it's increased a little bit. And then our population at the time was 48.2 million. Then Black / African Americans with passports is 16.4 million. That's 34%. And then most black men are staying right here. And this is why I asked the question, how do they find wives? Okay. I was just using this as an example. Let's continue. All right. So market research surveys, an example would be consumer behavior. When we start talking about debt, credit card usage, this is what these studies are for. Brand studies, the sample size minimum would be 200 to 1,000 respondents. And this is, the use case would be measuring sentiment when viral NBA photos drop. And this is how I track how black women react versus other groups. You always talk, you hear about the NBA draft or when the Indiana Pacers take their girlfriends and wives on the trip. All of them have white wives. This is what you would use this for. So this is designed to measure real-time reactions, ideal for behavior trends, not national conclusions. Okay, so just this one particular topic. If I share a picture, or not me, if the Indiana Pacers share a picture of all of their white wives going with their black husbands on a plane, if I was to break this down and I look in the comment section and I count the positive comments from black women and the negative comments from black women, I would need to have a threshold of respondents between 200 and 1,000. If it's more, great. Okay. But I'm only required to get about 200. So if I can count 200 bad comments and, let's say 100 good comments, then there's some correlation there. There's some causation or whatever, right? I can say, oh, okay. So that means that the majority of black women under this post are about this topic. They don't like that. Now, how you would expand that is if you go to another page where you got Lawrence from Insecure, right? When he got married, y'all remember this situation? He got married to a white woman or whatever she is, and he had to cut off his comments because he had so many negative ones from black women. Okay? So before he cut off the comments, if I was to count, like, oh, okay, cool. This is common on this particular case. And then I go to another case. Ghost from Power. His wife is white. I look in his comments. Oh man, it's another 250 black women that don't like this. So I got 3 studies that I can put together, which would be considered a trend analysis. This is a trend. So now we can start extrapolating that out to a national, representation of the population of black women and their thoughts on interracial marriage, which would be no good for black men. Now, how would I compare that? Okay, think about what I just said. So we just determined that black women don't like black men marrying out. That's already, for example, this is a, example. Already determined that. So how I would compare that, okay, I want to take this study a little bit deeper. Do black women like when black women marry white men or marry out? Let's do a study on that. So then you would have to go to who's a popular interracial couple. Who can we use? White man, black woman. Who would be what's a good example? I would say Gabby Sidibe, Serena Williams. Who else? Who else out there? Who else? Yeah, okay, Serena. I was gonna say Jody Smith Turner, but she got divorced to Pacey. I like both of them, by the way. Pacey, he always been cool. I call him Pacey because of Dawson's Creek. He always been cool with me. You know what I'm saying? And Jody Smith Turner, she did an amazing job in the movie Tron. Have y'all seen that? That was a great movie. The visuals, I'm going on a tangent, but yeah. So y'all know what I'm talking about. Who else? What? Oh, Chili from is TLC. Is she still with, was it Joey? Or the dude? I forgot. But yeah, I'm talking about married couples. But yeah, so if I was to, compare that, black women's thoughts of them marrying out, do they feel the same way as they do with black men? And then you would get those couples. You would look at the comments. Oh, this is positive. This is positive. So now I got 250 positive comments and I got 50 negative ones. So that would mean that black women don't mind when they marry out. They just don't like it when black men marry out. So now you have a comparison. And then you can start to extrapolate that out to a nationally representative survey. And then you can come to a conclusion that black women don't like when black men marry out, but they don't mind it when black women marry out. That's how you build a survey, a study, a case study. Okay. That's the blueprint. All right. It's very simple. So Tika Sumter, she's married to a white guy. Tika Sumter is beautiful. She can do what she wants. But yeah. And Jody Smith Turner is beautiful. Yeah. But none of these women, Tika Sumter and Jody Smith Turner, I've never heard them say anything crazy about black men. They just found a man and they married him. So, and that's the majority of interracially married couples. They not on swirl sites like what is it, the girl's name? Danish Deception chick. Yeah, they not on swirl sites. They just married, man. It is what it is. So, but Tika Sumter is beautiful. Let's see here. All right, so let me show you guys something real quick. Hold on. All right, so this is an example that I used. This is what led me to put this together. Okay, so I was just showing black women like, hey, man, y'all don't want to be married. So this would be an example. Shout out to Dr. Umar. All right. Yo. Let's see here. So an academic social science survey. So this will be a university psychology and sociology studies. So a basic sample size would be 100 to 300, 500 to 2,000 would be advanced, and then 5,000 plus for national level conclusions. So you see when you do national level conclusions, it has to be more people involved. So a use case would be proving black women are more likely to say they do not desire a relationship, showing differences between preferences versus availability. And why this is accurate? Because it's peer reviewed for one. Your peers review, see if you accurate and credible. Then methods and data sets are publicly available, which are all included in these type of social science surveys. And then replicable across multiple samples and universities. All right. And matter of fact, damn, I thought I had my book. Damn. It was a Malcolm Gladwell book that I read a while ago. It's called Talking to Strangers. He actually pulled a bunch of social science surveys in regards to the grape culture in college. That was actually an amazing book, by the way. So Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. It's one of my favorite authors, by the way. And here we go again. I'm going on a tangent. Go get that book, Talking with or Talking to Strangers. I got another book of his, Blink. Where is it? It's somewhere around here. Oh, I think I got it in on the bookshelf. But yeah, check out Malcolm Gladwell. I'm always encouraging y'all to read. All right. And then here's for this one right here. This will be an example of one of those studies. All right. We just talked about this. Now, qualitative research examples, focus group interviews, panel shows. This is important for my panel show folks. So you need about 10 to 50 participants. So this is why, and the reason why I use panel shows is because typically they'll bring up 10 people. There'll be 10 people on the screen. So you guys can actually determine from a panel show if the thoughts are true amongst the majority of people on the show. You know that? So yeah. So hold on, let me show you out. So use case, showing how black women and certain white men repeat the same false narratives about black men. And then what we did, we analyzed shows like Ricky Lake and Modern Relationship Panels. Why this is acceptable. Not meant to represent the whole population, but to reveal patterns in thinking. When the same narrative appears across decades, they show consistency, not coincidence. And this also adds context to quantitative data. And that's why over the past couple of 2 months or so, I've been going back looking at, the historical data so we can have a stronger case to say that, yes, some of these same talking points that black women have, I've heard white men share the same ones. And I don't think a lot of black women understand that. And I think that's how that name became popular in these male-centric spaces. The Ku Klux Keisha or KK Keisha or something like that. I think that was derived from a lot of black men noticing that, hey, man, you just quoted the same study as this, this guy that, this white guy that dislikes us. So now you start putting these things together. You guys seen the shows. You look at the panel shows. You're like, oh, shit. This ain't, this ain't a coincidence. This is a consistent pattern. Make sense? All right. Ricky Lake. All right. And then this one right here. I wanted to use this for an example because, hold on. Coincidence. This is good. Coincidence / online polls. So IG polls, YouTube polls, TikTok, X. So these are not scientific, guys. All right. So use case will be showing 1 in 3 black men are gay, jailed, or missing. You saw that on that old Ricky Lake show. And then black men have the highest interracial divorce rates. Not true. Black women divorce white men the least. Not true. Why this data is not accurate. Self-selected responses. Non-probability. Cannot be generalized to anyone beyond the voters. Useful only to identify viral sentiment, not reality. Now, I saw this page, Ask a Black Man. Black marriage rates increased over the past decade, increased 20% over the past decade, the first sustained rise in 40 years. So this is absolutely not true. They just, I'm calling them out because they could have just put the real information out there. But what they did, they mixed up some of the statistics to get to this point. So black marriage rates hit their lowest point around 2010 when only about 29% of black adults were married. So that 29%, they probably got that from black women's marriage rate currently. Since then, the rate has climbed steadily, rising to roughly 33 to 35% by 2023. That shift represents a meaningful reversal after decades of decline. But this 20% is nowhere to be found. Other indicators, the black men, the 36% of black men who are married, that's true, okay? But that's for 2022. What they said is the share of black men who are married has grown from about 36% in 2010 to around 41% today. So go back to when they said the marriage rate was 29% in 2010. So they just messed up the numbers, and that's why you use that 60-second fact check, because you can see the errors in it if you just read it. So 36, and then they said it's 41% today. We have not hit 41% just yet. All right. And then they said black women who are married has risen from roughly 26% to over 30%. that's not entirely true. It's close. It's 29%. Okay. So with the number, couples ages 25 to 34 who are married, increasing by nearly 10%, shows its low point 13 years ago. So yeah, so and again, what are we supposed to do here? When you see a study like this, or somebody putting something out there like this, like, man, well, what populations did you study? Where are the references? What did you cite? You just can't say sociologists emphasize. Where are the reference links? What did you look at to determine? These are the things that you guys have to ask yourselves when you read these types of things. Okay. And I know it looks bad that I'm kind of breaking apart something that's positive for the Black community, but there's a better way to put positive things without lying to the Black community. Okay. Does that make sense? You could talk about the marriage rates increasing, but you have to do it, with the right numbers. There you go. Okay. Now, this one you guys are going to enjoy. Okay. And this is probably the most important slides that you guys will want to, you're going to pay attention to. So, where the National Survey of Family Growth actually fits. So, Federal Health and Demographic Survey. This is what it's for. So, the sample size for that, Black men, 54% of Black men have never fathered children. The sample size was 21,441 face-to-face interview. So, your use case would be debunking absent father narratives for that comedian, showing births concentrate among a small subset of men, which we've already known, demonstrating most Black men have 0 children. And the reason why this study is accurate is because it was conducted by the NCHS, same institution as the CDC, large multi-year sample improved stability. And it also oversampled Black Americans for precision. And it also uses validated fertility and fatherhood questions across 50 years. All right. The reason why this is important and for you guys to understand is because when the Black community sees stuff like this and it paints Black men in a positive light, this type of stuff even rubs Black demographics the wrong way. Because remember, I want to tell y'all something about this. They were the first ones to put this graph together, which makes it very, very easy to read. They actually even cited where the information comes from, the NSFG from the CDC. But this year, when I went to go check the study, I needed to get the picture for a video that I was doing. They had to put a caveat to that. You see this? There are some important factors to keep in mind about the Black community's family patterns. Note, February 19th, 2025, they put this note in there for Black women to say, these statistics reflect self-reported data from the National Survey of Family Growth. Research has shown that men are more likely to underreport children they do not live with. Why did they put that in there? Okay, which may result in some underestimation of fatherhood rates. So it lets Black women question the fact, well, this stuff isn't true because, Black demographics, they said that there is an underestimation because Black men underreport the children. So they say the data is weighted for accuracy, but no survey is perfect. These trends should be used to inform discussions, not to assign blame. And that last little part, that's how I knew that they were influenced by a lot of Black women, or they saw some of the social media discourse. So it's like, well, let me go ahead and stick up for Black women and go ahead and give them, shoot them some bail by saying not to assign blame. Because when you look at this, now Black men can confidently say, hold on now, we're not the ones having all these children. And that is, and that debunks or challenges the narrative that has been in the Black community for decades, because 54% of Black men ain't never had children. So only 46% of Black men have ever fathered a child. And we know that 36% of Black men are actually married. So there's only a small percentage of Black men who are having all these children out of wedlock with Black women. But the reason why they did that is so if you in the chat if you sent this to a black woman and you said, nah, hold on, this not, what you saying is not true. Here, Black Demographics says that 54% of black men have never had a child. She goes to the site that you gave her, you give her the hyperlink, she clicks it, she looks at that picture, and then she'll look right under that picture and she'll read that paragraph and say, hold on, you quoting the study where they saying it's underreported. Y'all don't even report all your children. So that number could be what? Higher. You see how that works? So that's how you got to even watch these types of sites, because a lot of people have a vested interest in making black men look bad, even though everybody has referenced Black Demographics. But this was actually low of them to do, because you guys just learned that the study that they're actually talking about, hold on, it's accurate. It's absolutely accurate. Every point says it's accurate. So there was no need for them to put that in there. And that's why, black men, you got to be on your toes, because you will get duped even by some of these sites, and you got to do the research for yourselves. I say that all the time. So that's a perfect example of how some groups are dedicated to making it seem like black men are less than. But you guys have the real information, so you know the information is true. You can go to the CDC website, and don't use blackdemographics.com for this actual study, because they tried to sneak that in there this year, but I caught it. Caught your ass. So here, let's go over the key takeaways. So the more rigorous the survey, the more powerful the truth becomes. Your work is accurate because it relies on probability samples, federal data, peer-reviewed methods, transparent sample sizes. This is why your numbers consistently destroy viral myths about black men, black women, and black relationships. Okay? So when you guys do your research, you have all the knowledge that you need to determine if a statistic, fact, reference is true. And just try and put this into practice when you're on social media the next time and you see something pop up. You question it a little bit more. That's all I'm asking you guys to do. Is just question. Man, hold on. You missing some key parts about this. And then you can start asking questions, or you can do the research for yourself. Okay? And this could be done in any spaces, live streams. You can ask the question, where you get this from? What was the population size? How many people were surveyed? How were they surveyed? So yeah, I'm telling y'all in the sticklers, statistical sticklers. So yeah, so that's all I got for you guys, man. Oh my goodness. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I made it as entertaining as possible. I tried to correlate it with black relationships, and hopefully you learned some mathematical stuff that you probably didn't want to learn. But hey, it is what it is. You got it now. So you know some of what I know. So let me get to the super chats. That was fun for me. So yep. Hold on, let me. So I have a meeting at 1:30. Yes. Hold on, sorry, guys. All right, I'm good to go. How much time? Yep, 10 minutes. Okay, let me get the super chats. I don't want to shortchange anyone. Let me see. All right. Dante Bryant, $5 bomb, said it's all about control. They want us to be pigeonholed to them in case it doesn't work out with the white men. Yes. What was that? First right of refusal? Somebody's mentioned that before. I was like, it makes sense. It's like, because talking about the passport bros. It's like, man, they don't like the passport bros, but they want them to stay here so they can reject them. I was like, what sense does that make? I don't know. But yeah. Dante Bryant, $2 just said, I think a lot of them understand very well. Yeah, they understand. All right. So hopefully y'all learned something. I didn't go too fast. I was able to explain it as best possible. We went over so much, but I think it was good. But again, I'm going to clip this up at some point. I got a lot of content to clip up. But I do want to do another love connection so we can kind of relax and have some fun a little bit. Okay. So, I think we'll do another love connection. Sorry I wasn't able to go live yesterday, but I had to make up for it during today's lunch hours. All right. So I'm gonna get prepared. I'm gonna grab a protein shake. Well, it's already there. Yeah, and some fruit, and then I'm gonna get back to work. So I still got 4 hours. All right. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I enjoy doing these types of live streams. And if you want more like this, where you are interested in, biostatistics, statistics in general, anything that has to do with public health, global health, I'm more than open to share any information that I have with you guys. Okay. So yeah, we'll definitely get back to it. But I appreciate it. Thank you, Pooh Man. Thank you, Olua. Thank you to everybody that sent in super chats. I think I seen Mona in here. Mona, thank you for showing up. Please make sure you guys rewatch the live stream and screenshot again. If you want, I'll put the PowerPoint on my Media Man Google Drive, and I'll share it on my community post so you guys can have the actual PowerPoint for yourselves. Is that cool? That'll work? All right. Problems, solutions. All right, so let's get out of here. Here's some good music. What we got? Fast car. Yeah, let's go ahead. All right. So let me get back to work. So God bless you all. Be safe out there. Stay warm. Eat healthy. Work out. Get money. Peace. Thank y'all, man.
Fast car.